turn 4 now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winner there.
Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world, and welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing. We're here for round number 11 of Season 1, the German Grand Prix. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic one in the commentary box with fantastic commentators. Of course, it's Eddie and Adrian. Good evening.
Good evening, James. Good evening, Adrian.
Evening, Eddie. James.
So here we are, everybody. We are here at the Hockenheim Ring here in Germany for Season 1, Round 11 of Synergy PWR, People's World Racing. And we're straight into Q2. We've got 15 runners and riders. And we're out at this moment in time with Silver Surfer in the Sauber. We've just been watching the guys actually doing a little bit of practice. Some pretty good times coming up there, wasn't there, Adrian, during practice?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it was a decent session. Of course, in practice, never quite sure how hard people are pushing, how much fuel they've got. But yeah, being at the top is obviously some indication of one's pace.
And we've got both the McLarens in with us this evening. Obviously, Jakar and Rewind. And they haven't fared the best, let's say, in recent races. And,
well, except Rewind.
10th and 11th at the moment in the championship.
Rewind won the last race. They broke Tom 123's streak.
Sorry, you're right. Remember? I do apologise. No.
And it was, of course, his second race back. This is his third one. He's obviously looking to keep that streak going. And yeah, he was showing good pace in practice. It's probably worth mentioning as well that Tom 123 for the win. He might not be showing on the list there, but he is in this race. He's currently P12 in the Red Bull under the gamer tag Oi. That's due to a technical glitch with his normal account. He's had to use a temporary one just for this race, and because his normal one used the Williams seat, he's had to jump into the vacant Red Bull.
Well, this is going to make it interesting during the commentary, isn't it? I mean, I can't use those wonderfully expressive terms, and if I say "wee" goes into turn 1, it's just going to sound very peculiar. I've got to say,
call him Tom.
Just call him Tom. Yeah, I think I probably will.
There's a few drivers absent from this Grand Prix, actually. As I said, Rose Millas, the usual driver of that Red Bull, not feeling very well today, so obviously we hope he gets better soon and is able to race at the next race. I'm sure he wants to be here now. I know he's watching this stream.
So, unfortunately, Rose Milhouse is not well, but way has taken his place.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
I'm going to make the most of this one. I'll tell you if he's running with that one this evening. So, yeah, we've got Orbit Nations. He's set the provisional time there of a 1:12.2. That's not too bad at all, really, on those softs, is it?
No, not really. Well, no, not at all, actually. I've just noticed as well, we've actually just lost Repentful Sins, aka ZG Relentless. It's his new gamer tag that he's using now.
Yes, indeed. And
I'm not.
Well, I was going to run through that. I'm not too sure what's happened there. For those of you that may not be aware, ZG Relentless, Haas driver, had changed his tag from, what was it previously?
Yeah, no, that was it. ZG Relentless, and now it's Repentful Sins. But
Repentful Sins. I thought he changed it another time before that.
Oh, he changed it 3 or 4 times, yeah, over the course of the season. Yeah. So.
We should really say that he's got to start again on the championship table under this gamer tag. But
I think that's all we can introduce.
And Mulan looking good as well there in the Mercedes. Good to see. 112.8. And
Yeah,
Wee has got a 112.2, 3/8.
Indeed, not quite sure what Silver Surfer's doing on that 120. Perhaps he's got about 120 litres of fuel on board.
He must be. Well, I mean, it's interesting. It's only only Wee is on the ultra softs.
It's going to stick now, isn't it? I think he might have to
This
just
is
continue
it.
with
I
that
tell
game
you
attack
what,
to the end of the
this is
season. He can restart his points total as well.
Let's hope he's in plenty of the action during the race, because it will certainly make the commentary interesting. So we got indeed Milan set to 112.8. Silver Surfer, clearly not the lap time he wanted to set, a 120.4, but at least he's put a time down. ZG Swift, he's out in the Saab at this moment in time. Sorry, not ZG Swift, I was looking at Silver Surfer. ZG Swift, he's out in his Mercedes, and it's set to 112.3. So that was a nice time indeed. Obviously, we know that Rewind was doing pretty fast in practice. He's on those softs as well. Jakar is on the mediums. Josh Diggles is in the pits, and I don't know if he's taking off those ultra softs or putting them on, actually.
Yeah, not too sure about Josh. He's obviously leaving it reasonably late. His Rewind just goes fast as with an 11.8.
Yeah.
That's
a
a very good
1:11.8.
lap.
I was literally just saying that there. 1:11.875 from the McLaren driver there. Rewind, clearly looking to stamp his mark, isn't it? Really, as you say, he's missed out on a few races. Obviously, at the start of the season.
He's back with a vengeance, I think. Actually, set of an 11.4 in practice, which was incredibly impressive lap. So 11.4? I think it was 11.4.
Yeah, it was.
He's obviously got more to give. Rose Rapid as well in P5 in the Toro Rosso. It's a new name for this race. He was tested. We do like a little driver testing program before we allow drivers to join the league. He was tested on Friday and did very well, and has now found himself in Division 1 in that Toro Rosso. His teammate is A11 Skills, who again is not here today.
No, we have a number of
we'll
drivers.
give him a shout out.
Yeah, we've got a number of drivers missing. I was just about to quickly run through that, although I do notice that one of those that we do still have in is obviously Silver Surfer, by the looks of it, because he wasn't there. So let's have a quick look at those that won't be racing with us. So Lucas, F1, he will not be racing with us for Toro Rosso. Rose Millhouse for... Hang on, I've got the wrong...
Yep.
I've got the wrong list here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's it.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
That's
all right. I was looking and I was thinking that's not right. So Rose Millhouse for Red Bull will not be in. AOR Andrew for Renault, he's not in, and there's Adrian's mentioning there A11 Skills. That's a teammate to the new driver, Rose Rapid. He won't be racing. So Rose Rapid racing solo this evening, and on his debut into SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. So good result from him, certainly so far, with a 112.5. I mean, he's in the top 5 there. It's looking pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a decent lap. Actually, his Way has just retired. May have been involved in a collision with Josh Diggles, actually. I just see Josh Diggles got a five-place penalty for colliding. That could shake
So it
things
looks
up.
like Josh Diggles has taken out during this Q2. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining. Remember, it is the top 10 that will go through. Bottom 5 will drop out. And James, you've got some news for us on that?
No news on the actual collision. We'll try and find out more, and I'll get back in touch with you on that one. Just thought I'd slip in with a few comments, actually, from the stream. Rose Millhouse asking, quite simply, where is Tom? So where's Tom? I know, Adrian, you've just slipped in there and responded straight away, but for those who aren't looking at the comments, who's Way?
Well, let me explain. Way is indeed Tom, as Tom unfortunately has had some technical issues this evening, which means that he's had to change gamer tag at the last minute, and clearly that is what he felt would be more interesting for his tag this evening. So I hope that answers the question there. Tom is racing this evening as way in the Red Bull. So, you see NW Noel coming into pits there. Obviously, the Williams are going to be looking strong. NW Noel certainly with something to prove at this moment in time. So, in the drop zone at this moment in time, we have Silver Surfer, who is out on track. And he is on a set of used softs, I believe. Sean Gregory in the Ferrari is currently P12 with a 113 as well. F1 Ben, he's in the pits at the moment. I think he's just coming out actually, Sean Gregory. F1 Ben, he's in the Force India. He's currently P13. Josh Diggles in the Renault, he's currently P14. He is out on track, or just going out on track, so let's run with Josh in the Renault. He's got 3.5 minutes remaining of this queue to get his mark set in there. Quick chat, Adrian, on Silver Surfer's 113.
Yeah.
We should see a better time from him on that, surely, I think, in this queue.
Yeah, we should do. Although I wonder, actually, as Fit Cookie said in the chat, that I wonder if he's employing the same strategy, psychological strategy, as I did in my Q2 yesterday. Slightly different conditions yesterday. In Division 2, the track was wet but drying. I decided, while it was still wet, to go out on ultra softs to try and lure others into doing the same thing. It didn't work, and I just ended up looking a bit silly.
Ah, right, okay.
So I was deliberately setting slow laps.
I was about to say, so you were trying to effectively outwit the competition.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I just looked like a complete loony.
How did that work out for you, Adrian?
Well, I started P13, which is my worst ever qualifying position, which actually was part of the plan. It wasn't, well, not P13, I wanted P11, but hey ho. And the race, I mean, my strategy, I was able to start on the fresh mediums, and I did everything I could to make the tyres last as long as possible. Actually went 26 laps in the session, and then on to the ultras, but ended P10 in the end. I think James wants a word, hopefully not to tell me off for doing that.
No, I assure you not to. No, I'm just on board with Mulan at the moment, actually, as we see on the screen here. He's actually now on a brand new set of Ultra Softs, so he's one of the first drivers going to be trying out the Ultra Softs alongside F1 Ben, Rose Rapid and Orbit Nations. Worth making note, as the rest of the field are on soft tyres, apart from Sean Gregory at one point, who was on mediums, but he's now gone on to a set of Ultra Softs as well. So going to be interesting mix-up, because remember, obviously the top 10 who do go through to Q3 are obviously going to be using the same tyres that they get on from the fastest lap of Q2. So yeah, interesting one.
Yeah, nobody in sorry Eddie, but nobody in our race yesterday started on the ultras. We had everybody start on the super softs, with just me and Becky Boo start on the medium tyres. So yeah, it'll be interesting this race to see if anyone goes for the two-stop.
Well, I mean, there is an advantage, I guess, to be had, but the question is there an advantage on this track? I mean, I suppose you could, if you were in, I don't know, it's difficult to say. I'd say it might be worthwhile if you say in the bottom half of the 10 to go ultra soft, but it is a bit of a interesting one, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to say that the top drivers go on the ultra soft tire. Actually, it's Ben just done a 1:11.5.
Yep,
On that ultra soft tire.
1:11.5
That is
there
a really good lap.
from
Good lap.
F1 Ben in the Force India. So nice little run with him. And Mulan, he's currently P9. He's obviously in 10, but he's dropped. Josh Diggles in the Renault P11, Hypernova in the Sauber P12. His teammate Silver Surfer P13. Sean Gregory has set a time of 1:13.9. He's coming into the pits now, Mulan. So we're riding now with the debut driver of Rose Rapid in the Toro Rosso. Still looking strong. He's down P7. He's on the ultra soft. Clearly he's looking to put down a better time. He certainly seems to be laying it down now.
Well, somehow he hasn't gone faster in the first sector, although he's on the softer tyres and he's just invalidated his lap.
Oh dear.
Good second sector though.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I would expect really sector 2 and 3 would probably be better for him, but Silver Surfer into the pits as well. Sean Gregory, F1 Ben coming into the pits as well, rewinding. And Josh Diggles. James, you've got an update for us?
Yeah, that's quite big actually. Josh Diggles was down in P11 at that time. He was on old set of softs and he needed to get a lap in. He managed to get in with just a second to spare across the finishing line to start his lap, and he's pushed Mulan, who had a really, really shocking third sector after losing that rear end. He decided to abandon his lap in the hope that those soft tyres, the soft lap run that he did was perfectly fine. And out of nowhere, you've got F1 Ben pushed himself up to pole position, and Josh Diggles pushed him up from 11th to 8th. A massive smash there. I think that was a...
Oh, dearie me.
I think
that
was an AI.
Is that an AI? Going into the back of the Renault there, and that looks like that was turn 2, just before turn 2, wasn't it?
I hope he's still going to be racing, because I think that's Sean Gregory, isn't it? Or was it Orbit that got crashed out there?
That was Orbit. So
that crashed
into.
Hopefully Orbit will still be in the race, in the qualifying session, because he got through. So if he's not through to Q3, where you do have the opportunity to do a restart here, because that is totally unfair.
Well, quickly run through our bottom 5 there. So in the drop zone, ITFM Mulan will take P5 in the Mercedes. Hypernova in the Sauber will take P12. His teammate will take P13. Sean Gregory in the Ferrari is P14. And Repentful Sins, formerly ZG Relentless for Haas, is taking P15.
Still not going by the name Cursed, isn't he?
Mediums.
He's still cursed, no matter what he does. That's why I said he should be ZG cursed and just stick to that.
So yeah, just to clarify one thing, by the way, guys, as I'm just still here. If Orbit is not in this session, then there is well within right to restart this session. And yeah, you can see he's not in it. So his AI is obviously taking him out of qualifying. So I think they're well within the right to restart the session, and we will be running another short qualifying session, which I think the last short qualifying session we had was actually at Britain, wasn't it? And it was magnificent. So
it really did bring the whole thing alive. So we could be looking at that again.
We could be looking at that again, though. We'll keep an eye out, though. Keep an eye out on the Discord if you can.
Okay, well, Adrian, that's your bag there, my friend.
Yep, certainly. I will keep you updated.
So, one of the McLarens, Rewind, coming out on track. So Rewind is the first man on track. As James was explaining there, obviously due to that incident with Orbit Nations, and who was it? It was Josh. Was it Josh? Josh Diggles, yeah, in the Renault. So we could be looking at a restart for the queues, and that would mean that we'd be going for a one-shot queue. But we'll see how that pans out in the Discord with the drivers. So we are running on board now with Rewind. This is Synergy PWR, People's World Racing. And this is our season 1 of 2018. We are here at the iconic Hockenheim Ring for round 11, the German Grand Prix. We are riding on board at this moment with Rewind in the McLaren. Also, Rose Rapid, the new driver with Toro Rosso on his debut here for Synergy. He's out on track as well at this moment in time. Indeed, Jakar looks like he's on his outlap now as well. And we'll run with Rewind, seeing what sort of time he can actually set. So as he's coming round Parabolica now, down to turn 6.
Getting quite a bit of echo, James.
Up to turn 7 now. As he comes round this section of turns to 8 to 11, coming out of sector 2, then going into the final sector 3. Here we are, round 12. It's looking pretty good so far. That's looking very good, actually. Very, very good. What can we do on here? Look at that, a 1:11.0. Lovely, lovely
Brilliant.
lap there. That is fast. Rose Rapid now coming round. What can
I don't
he
even
do?
think that's
1:10. A 1:10.983. What a fantastic response from this debut driver, Rose Rapid, in the Toro Rosso. A 1:10.983. Wow,
Great
we
stuff.
weren't expecting that, were we?
We certainly weren't. Jakarta's looking fast as well. It's got 15.6 in the first sector. That's the fastest we've seen in all sessions so far.
So, just coming round now.
And Noel as well has just gone even faster than that. So
Round.
just keep an eye on those two.
Well, let's keep an eye out on those, indeed, as you say. He's in the second sector, coming into the third sector now. It's not looking too bad. I just want to see what he's hitting that apex on that final turn 16 on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is looking very good indeed. What can he do? Oh, 1:10.954. 953, sorry. Fantastic.
Yeah.
NW Noel now in the Williams. He's coming round.
Let's
Let's see what he can do now. He comes round this final turn 16 now, and this is going to be fast. This is going to be sub 1:10, I think. Oh no! What happened? A 1:11.
No, last sector was was pretty bad.
Good God,
Lost
I
all
was
his time
expecting to go down there. But what a fantastic response from Jakar. 1:10.953. Rose Rapid 983. So we're actually looking at 300ths between, exactly 300ths between them. CG Swift in a Mercedes setting a 1:11.2. And obviously, I'm sure these guys are all on the Ultra Softs. I haven't actually checked. They are all on the Ultra Softs bar, interestingly.
Eddie.
Josh Diggles.
Eddie, we have some news. The restart has been called. We've got
Excellent.
enough yeses.
Oops, sorry, didn't mean that.
So I will abort this session and host a new one, and it will be a short qualifying session.
Okay, James.
Yeah, sorry, just thought I'd slip in there. The Discord session, all the drivers have stepped in, and there is a full program of drivers that are wishing to restart the session for the sake of the incident between Josh and I believe it was Orbit, wasn't it? Crashing, obviously the AI has actually forced him out of qualifying, which is totally bogus, as Zwift has just launched his car straight into the wall. We will be restarting this session as a short qualifying, but one thing's for sure, if all the drivers are as close as this in a Q3 session, what's it going to be like with all of them going for pole position at the same time?
It's going to be chaos. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be definitely worth watching.
turn 4 now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winning there.
Good evening, Synergy PWR viewers across the world, and welcome to Synergy PWR People's World Racing. We're here for round number 11 of Season 1 at the Hockenheimring in Germany. It's 2.8 miles of German tarmac here around the Hockenheimring tonight, 17 turns and 2 DRS zones at one of the most veteran tracks on the calendar, with average lap speeds in the dry of 130 miles per hour. And in the commentary box, as per usual, of course, is Eddie and Adrian. Good evening.
Evening, James. I don't know where Eddie's gone. Eddie?
Oh, sorry, I said good evening, James, but I didn't have my mic on.
I was getting worried. I thought I'd do my own.
Does help if you turn the mic on, doesn't it? Yes, good evening, James. Good evening, Adrian. How are we all this evening?
Relieved. Relieved to hear your voice.
Okay, so just to quickly give you a little overview for those of you who have been watching, who just started watching, who were watching earlier, we did have, unfortunately, a bit of an incident at the end of Q3. So we've done a vote and we decided to do a restart. What does that mean? Well, that means that we're going to do a one-shot qualifier. Now, this really does liven up the whole qualification process. So what we've got, all 13 runners and riders are currently out on track at this moment in time, and they have, well, just over 16 and a half minutes now in which they need to set their fastest time. Last time we did this obviously was in the UK, last race. It certainly makes things interesting, doesn't it, Adrian? That's for sure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I actually really enjoy these short qualifying sessions. Obviously, we only use them if something has happened in the sort of standard full qualifying sessions, and it's left us short of time. But yeah, no, they do open up a different sort of layer, I suppose, of strategy, and it's quite intense as well, because you've got all 13 drivers now racing for pole position essentially.
Yeah, basically, and we're running at this moment in time. Orbit Nations was initially the first man out on track, but he's taking his time in effectively getting those tyres warmed up. His teammate Sean Gregory looks like he's just behind him. Now, interesting, Orbit's gone for the softs. His teammate Sean Gregory's gone for the ultra softs, and we can see quite a bit of a mix. There's a number of drivers on both sets. James.
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity for especially the likes of Sean Gregory, who in the previous qualifying session actually set in his lap on medium tyres. So with this short qualifying opportunity, it gives him a real insight into realising how slow those mediums are in comparison. So it's a second chance for people like him to have another go as Orbit goes off the track.
He does indeed. Goes off immediately there in turn 1. So he's not doing too great. Let's have a look. Repentful Sins. Formerly ZG Relentless in the Haas. He's out on the set of softs. Sean Gregory, as I said, on the Ferrari, he's out on the set of ultra softs. Whee! Who you might better know as Tom 123. And Repentful Sins goes straight in the top there. Would have won 17.9. Not super fast. We've seen a lot faster than that.
Yeah, we have. It's interesting though as well that as you said earlier, you've got half the drivers on the softs and half the drivers on the ultra soft as well, which just gives an indication as to their strategy. I would imagine now, some of the ultra soft runners might be wanting to do a one-stop still and run onto the medium tyre. It can be done on this track. I did it the other way round myself, although it wasn't particularly fast, I have to say.
So, yes,
it was very
indeed. What I was going to say, though, Adrian, and I just want to get clarification on this. So the guys, whatever they set their lap time on, that's what they start the race with?
That's right, yeah. It's essentially a Q2 and Q1 combined in this session. It's, so whatever tyres they finish this session. James?
Yeah, a bit more clarification on that. It's whoever gets into the top 10. So P1 to P10, if they set their lap on their tyre and manage to do it and they get through into the top 10, they'll be starting on that tyre. If they finish P11, P12 or P13, they'll have the option to start on any tyre they'd like.
Okay, so it is an absolute amalgamation then of Qs2 and 3, effectively, as Adrian was saying. So yeah, and that makes sense now. I got it. Okay, so those of you that are watching, normally what would happen in Q2 is whatever the drivers in Q2 set their time on to get into Q3, so those top 10 drivers have to keep those tyres for the start of the race, and then the ones obviously that are left out have a choice. So in this session, because it is effectively amalgamation, the top 10 will definitely have to stay on their tyres that they set their lap on, and the remaining 3, as James explained there, they can have a choice of any tyre. So here we are now. Sean Gregory, no, not a great time. CG Swift is now coming around into, or well into the final sector. No, he's not. He is now coming into the final third sector now. And that's that time looking at, I'm just seeing here, ZG Swift in the Mercedes. I think that's going to be about a 1:14, I think.
Johan is looking like he's going to take an early pole position here. Not too sure what the time's going to be. It's going to be certainly under the 17.
Well, ZG just sets a 1:12. Thought it was going to be a little bit slower than that. Johan now coming round the final turn now. Oh, he's really lost it. He's run out of fuel.
Oh, you're joking.
He's run out of fuel.
He's got fastest first and second sector. Yeah, look, 15.8 with no fuel.
Sure. No, he hasn't. He has got fuel on board. I thought he didn't have fuel there for a minute. He slowed it right down for the start there. So
it's interesting.
He's out now. It was very interesting. Let's have a look at Silver Surfer now in the Sauber. Fastest lap, 1:11.9. That's more like it. By Orbit Nations in the Ferrari. And Silver Surfer now coming round the... Oh, and Josh Diggles. Just... So we're on board now with Josh Diggles in the Renault. Coming round the final sector. He's out. He's gone off track. So nothing there.
Neither McLaren has gone out yet.
No. Interesting indeed. And we're running on board with Whee! As he's coming down Parabolica towards turn 6.
Oh, Josh has just lost it, turn 1.
Oh my goodness, Josh Diggles loses it in turn 1.
I'll watch that. I'll get that on the replay then.
Tom now, sorry, not Tom. Yeah, I've got to say this is Tom. For those of you that are watching, that unsure who Whee is, it is indeed Tom 123. And for those of you that need a quick explanation, as he comes into sector 3, he's certainly pushing it. He's had a few technical issues with his account. He's had to set up a quick last-minute account. Therefore, that is why he's using the tag Whee! But it doesn't seem to impair his driving skills. So he's just set at 1:12.6. It's not ideal. I think he can do better than that. And James, you going to give us a quick update?
Hi, yeah,
James?
sorry, miles away then. Sorry, I forgot to put my microphone on off then. Diggles 99, it's Josh Diggles. He's commented actually in the stream just now. I cannot complete T1. This track is awful. In full caps rage.
So clearly Josh Diggles having an issue there around the track, and it isn't, I mean, to be fair, it is a rapid track, but it's a bit like Marmite. I think this track, you either love it or you hate it.
Indeed, I actually love it. It's also the flattest track on the calendar. You agree with that?
Yeah, because there certainly doesn't seem to be any sort of gradient at all around the track. So we're running on board now with Rewind in the McLaren as he goes on a fast lap now. Nicely done into turn. Whoa, nearly loses it there. Don't know if he's going to stay as is at this moment in time. We'll have to... He's coming down Parabolica now. Towards that turn 6. Just having a look at his sector time now. So he's going into the final set of turns between 8 and 11. Oh, and Williams moving aside there, let him through. He is on the yellows, so and again, all the drivers are. It doesn't seem like the Ultrasofts are really responding. He goes into sector 3. Oh, I think he's off track there. I think he's invalidated his time there. I think he may have done. He went fully off track, but we will see. Quickly run with Jakar, his teammate, now running behind him. He's going to be starting his fast lap now. So Jakar coming across. It was indeed invalidated for rewind. So Jakar now coming around his first lap. We'll quickly go to this is turn 1. Very high speed, hit that apex corner. You see the exit of the pit on the right there as you come down to turn 2. Can be tricky during the race. And while I'm speaking, Repentful Sin sets a 1:11.1.
That's impressive. That's impressive from the Haas driver.
1:11.1. That is very, very impressive indeed. So let's have a quick look at Repentful Sins. In the Haas.
Rewind's backed out.
And Rewind has backed out of that lap.
Jakar's on one though. His teammate.
And Jakar now, as I said, he's coming around all a bit. It just seems quite a loose setup he's got running there. He seems to be getting a lot of drift across the track. I'm not too sure.
Good but not fantastic first and second sectors. I think he's going to be second row maybe these times.
Well, he's coming around the final turn now. 1:12 again. 1:11.9. So good last sector there. 1:11.9 puts him into P2. That is 8/10 down on Repentful Sins. Orbit Nations, he's 1:11.967. So only 200ths between Jakar and Orbit Nations.
James?
200ths of a second, as I was just about to say right there. Fantastic lap time from Jakar, that isn't it? I mean, yeah, he was. I've seen the lap times myself. It was looking like he was on for possibly a spot on the second row, but that final corner, I think, did him the trick.
Yeah,
it did. That final turn was beautifully taken and really, really made a difference. Got the power down.
Worth noting, Tom is also on one as well from P8. He's just got set the fastest first sector.
Well, I didn't expect to see Tom down there for too long.
Fastest on... That's on the... is it? Oh, is he? Is he on the soft tyres?
He is on the softs, yeah. Yellow wall softs.
Yeah, that's right.
Just coming in now to sector 3. And this time is looking very, very good indeed.
3-1 P2, yep. Good lap. It's really good on those softs.
1:11.4. This is going to be phenomenal. Look at this. Look at this. Oh,
P2.
1:11.3. He was so... It really looked like he was going to beat that hands down and possibly get into the 1:10s. But it's those final 2 turns that can be so tricky. If you don't get it lined up right, that 16 into 17, you can lose a good couple of tenths. We saw indeed again earlier. Rewind. He's in P3 with that 1:11.4. Or Tom is with a 1:11.3. And James.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to come in here and just say Repentful Sins, obviously, it looks a bit uncharacteristic. Like, I mean, he's a good driver, is ZG Relentless as he's known, but he's not usually up there. Quite simply, correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, did he do his 11.1 on Ultra Softs?
He did, yes. And there's about 7/10 difference between the ultras and the softs.
So he is quite a significant gap further up because he is on the ultra soft tyre. So even if he does start on pole position, he'll be starting on what will be in the long run a very weaker tyre. So it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic works, especially considering ZG Relentless Repentful Sins at the top at the moment is planning to go out again on another set of ultra soft. So we could be breaching the 10s.
Keep an eye on it.
That is certainly going to be interesting, and ZG Swift certainly has the ability to do that in that Mercedes. He's just about to come out on track now. Johan, Repentful Sins teammate in the Haas. He's currently P11 with a 1:15.8, but he is certainly capable of doing far better than that. He's just coming down around Parabolica now, zoning down to this turn 6. Haven't heard much, or we haven't really seen much or paid much attention to Johan during the previous qualification or in this one, but certainly a quality driver, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. He's well, he holds a couple of records actually. He holds a record for the longest podium streak and also the longest DNF streak. He's on the right, bad kind of form at the moment. 3 DNFs in a row. Hopefully he'll go back
even
to
with
his,
those 3
winning ways.
DNFs, he's still 4th in the Drivers' Championship.
Quite right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, he was P1 for a little while, even though he hadn't actually won a race before.
That's right. I think it was the first 3 races. He didn't actually won, but he was top of the championship, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 12-0 from Johan.
So
Good, but not great.
we're on board now with Repentful Sins, as he's starting a fast lap. Coming around Parabolica now. And it's such a lovely, well, I say it's not a straight, but you can really build up speed round there, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Sins has got to be careful. He doesn't do too many laps on those ultra softs because it will affect him in the race. Those ultras will only last about. I mean, I made them last 10 laps, but that was going very carefully.
Well, wow, that's pushing it. I would think normally you'd be looking, well, on this sort of track, if you're going to be starting on the ultra softs, obviously the load's going to be a lot heavier with the fuel load. You're going to be probably, I would have thought, around about 8 laps. So if you've got them to 10, that's not bad going.
Yeah, well, they start falling away at lap 6, and yeah, they'll just disintegrate slowly but surely.
It's not looking
Fastest
too
second
bad.
sector. Fastest
Yeah,
second sector
it's
from
not. It's
Sins.
these 2 turns that are the critical ones. If you can get that, and he has. Look at this. Look at this. A
10-8.
1:10.8 from Repentful Sins, formerly ZG Relentless in the Haas. What an absolutely blinding time with 30 seconds left on the clock. James, what do you think of that?
That's well, I must admit, I'm absolutely applauding those final couple of corners. What an amazing selection of corners right at the end. Don't know where they came from, but that really gave him a nice boost of speed coming through the very final corner, and he managed to get straight into the 10s. Cracking lap from Sins.
Well, fantastic. And I think it's on that turn 16. You don't want to be hitting the apex. If you just go slightly beyond the apex, you can get a fantastic exit and really launch yourself, out of 17 that final turn.
Yeah, no, he's done really well there. Yeah, you can, as you say, you can just slingshot yourself. You get a good run. Relentless has never qualified above 4th place, so he'll be really happy if he does get.
He'll be very, very happy with that. And he'll obviously, you know what happened. He'll be putting it down to the change of his game tag.
Yeah. That means he'll be changing every race.
Oh God, no! Please, no. It's bad enough with way.
Repentful Sins, Repentful Cursed, and then it could be Repentful something. I don't know what's going to be happening with ZG. And Sean!
Whoa!
Sean
That
just
really
lost
was a
it in.
way moment there from Sean Gregory.
That's it then, isn't it?
Probably the most
Repentful Sins.
dramatic pit entrance I've seen this season, actually.
Repentful Sins has just taken pole position. Don't think I'll be saying that.
There we go. Repentful Sins indeed does take pole position. And what a fantastic result there. And I can't be doing this all race, seriously. I'd love to, but I really can't. Tom, 1, 2, 3. Takes P2 there in the Williams. Rewind in the McLaren is going to be in the 2nd row, and alongside him is going to be his teammate Jakar. So the McLarens have locked out that 2nd row. How important is that to them, Adrian? How important is that?
Well, it's massive. It's going to help him big time in the constructors' championship. It's also worth noting as well. Rewind did 3 laps in that session on those tyres. Jakai's teammate just did the 1, and he starts from P4. So whether that will come into play, sort of at the halfway point of the race, perhaps, we don't know.
All these things come into play. Obviously, those top 10, as we said, they're going to have to start the race on those tyres, whereas the bottom 3 will have a choice. So, Repentful Sins Haas takes P1. Alongside him will be Tom 1, 2, 3 in the Williams. Row 2 is a McLaren Knockout, Rewind and Jakar. Row 3, Orbit Nations for Ferraris, P5. Johan for Haas is P6. Row 4, ZG Swift for Mercedes is alongside his teammate, so a lockout from Mercedes for row 4. Row 5 will be Sauber, Hypernova. Alongside him will be teammate to Way or Tom, NW Null. Then we have row 6, Silver Surfer in the Sauber, and alongside him, oh God, I missed that. Who was that going to be? I'll run through that in a second. But interesting, we've got a lockout row 2 and row 6. No, sorry, row 2 and row 4.
And as well, but those McLarens, there's actually sat just a few points behind the Ferraris in the championship, and they've just out-qualified both Ferraris.
Yes. And, well, both, you know, them. I mean, ultimately, you know, Jakar, obviously, we know, season winner. Rewind as well, very fast driver. They really haven't. I mean, here we are, we're race 11, we're halfway through the season effectively, and McLaren are finding himself 10 and 11 in the Drivers' Championship and 5th in the Constructors' Championship, and we know that they are certainly better than that. I mean, are they starting to up their game, Adrian, in this second half of this first season here? Are they looking to say, right, this is it now, we need to really get pedal to the metal and show what we can do, especially, you know, well, obviously we want to know Jakar as a previous winner.
Yeah, of course. Both drivers certainly have the potential to win races, and yeah, I think we're going to see wins from probably not just one but both of them over the next until the end of the season.
Well, as you say, Rewind obviously kicked it off last week and has done recently with a number of races. I mean, he's actually, from your wonderful statistics, he's actually on the last 3 races picked up 29 points. Bearing in mind he's on 43 points, that's amazing. That's, you know, more. He's effectively doubled his point rate overnight, really.
Yeah. He's come back with a vengeance, hasn't he? And he's done really well. And hopefully this good run of form will continue. And I think it will. I think he's shown he's got real pace here. Yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens. I'm actually going to stick my neck on the line and say Rewind's going to win this race.
So you think Rewind is going to win this race? Well, I mean, okay. I suppose you're going to want me to call it now, aren't you?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I thought you might. Okay, I'm gonna have a think about it. Actually, I'm gonna think I'm gonna get James in. James, what are you calling for this one?
You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. Well, I nearly got it right the other day. I was screaming, weren't I, for NW Noel at Britain for qualifying.
You were.
But I'll be honest with you, I can't put my finger on who I think will get it. I think Sins has got a real shout if he can really keep up the pace, especially when he goes on to his second lot of tyres. But my favourite's probably going to have to be Way.
Do you know what, James? As I was listening to you there, I thought, I hope he doesn't take who I think it will be. But then again, I always choose Tom. I always take the safe option. So what the hell? This time round, I am going to go with Jakar. I'm going with Jakar because I think they've certainly found their pace. I think they're starting to get a lot more comfortable. I think certainly being in that second row is definitely going to push them. And yeah, I'm sticking with Jakar. So Jakar, McLaren.
That's not a bad shout. Actually, personally, I think it's going to finish Rewind, Tom, and then Jakar P3. Both McLarens on the podium. But
well, there's been a lot of chat recently
cool.
around. Sorry. lot of chat round Tom recently, obviously with all his time trial championship titles. So the other drivers are running a bit scared, but we will soon be underway for the start of this round 11 German Grand Prix.
They're coming to turn 4 now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winning there.
Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world, and welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing. We're here for round number 11 at the Hockenheimring in Germany. It's 2.8 miles of German tarmac here at the Hockenheimring tonight, with 17 turns and 2 DRS zones at one of the most veteran tracks on the calendar. And with average speeds of 130 miles an hour in the dry, we're expecting this to be an absolute cracker. And of course, in the commentary box, as always, it's Eddie and Adrian as the cars are pulling away on the reconnaissance lap. Good evening.
Indeed. Good evening, James. Adrian.
Yeah, evening, mate.
Well, whew, what can we say here? Repentful sins in that. Oh, dearie me. Oh, my goodness. What happened there? And Rewind is already out. He's disqualified, as has we. What is going on?
It's only the formation lap. I think I'm just looking back at the replay of the stream here. Yeah.
Somebody go off the track there. I'm sure that was Jakar, actually. Rewind's always unless he's been put back. Anyway.
Looked like Tom slowed right down and Rewind went into the back.
Sins in the Haas. He takes P1. Tom 1, 2, 3, known as Wee for this race, although I won't maintain that all the way through. He's P2. Rewind in the Haas will be P3. Alongside him, we're running with now Jakar will be P4. Along or behind them in row 3, Orbit Nations in the Ferrari P5. Alongside him, Johan in the Haas. And row 4, we have the Mercedes of ZG Swift and ITFM Mulan. Row 5, Hypernova in the Sauber. Alongside him will be NW Knoll in the Williams. Row 6, Silver Surfer in the Sauber is P11. Alongside him, Sean Gregory in the Ferrari. And all on his lonesome in row 7 will be Josh Diggles, bringing up the rear of the field in P13. They're all round now in sector 3, starting to line up on the starting grid for this. I think there has been a position change here. Let's have a quick look. No, we're looking good. Oh, sorry, I was going to do that. Yep. Okay, so they're lining up now for the start of this race. This is Synergy PWR, People's World Racing, and we are off for the start of this Hockenheimring German Grand Prix round 11.
Great start from Jakar.
And look at this, McLaren's already pushing there. Look at Jakar. He's really pushing, but Repentful Sins really gets flying out there. But look at the Ferrari. Look at the Ferrari of Orbit Nations now. Moving up into P2. Jakar drops down to P3. Rewind is back in his place in P4 there. Whoa, what happened there? And Tom in the Williams has dropped right back to P5. Where did that Ferrari come from of Orbit Nations? Look at this, they are 3 wide coming into this turn here. Surely they cannot get through, but look at that. Fantastic control there from Rewind, Tom and ZG, but Tom is all over the back. Oh, look at this, another Mercedes. ZG Swift looks like he's gone into the back of him. There is a VSC
out.
Virtual safety car is out. What a start to that race, and where the hell did Orbit Nations come from, Adrian?
That was incredible from the the Ferrari there. Yeah, I thought Jakar had a good start, but yeah, he had Orbit Nations up the inside of him. Yeah, no,
well, he
absolutely
just
phenomenal.
seemed to find. I think what happened was he just seemed to find a clear bit of track, and it just allowed him to open up the valves. James,
Yeah, I think he just.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there. I know that you were just about to say something there, Adrian, as they begin race again. And Way making a bit of an overtake off the boundaries of the track though between Jakar. I was just about to say quickly, it looks like Way's had a really bad start on Orbits, managed to capitalise on that very well.
he has indeed. Adrian, you were going to make a comment there, mate. Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute there. I was just going to say that perhaps Orbit jumped onto a boost pad. Found lots of extra grip from somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, rewind.
Look at this fight here between the Haas and the Williams and the McLaren as well. Look at this. Look at this. How close do you want to get to Tom 123? Well, this is your answer. No need to stick it on a postcard. Phenomenal race here. And look at this midfield here between P4 down to P7. They are so close. 4 tenths there. Look at this, and he's coming through, and Rewind gets through, as does ZG Swift. My goodness, and a little knock there. Is that...
Rewind's in the pit.
Rewind is in the pits. Rewind is in the pits. Jakar maintains that P3. Tom is in P4. ZG Swift is really pushing, but look at this. Tom. P6 Johan now. He's zoning in on the back of that Mercedes of ZG Swift. As they're coming down Parabolica. Now this is a great opportunity. Look at this side by side here as they're coming down to turn 6. Who will make it? Well, Johan should have the advantage. But can he maintain it on the exit as they're coming down towards 7? Again, he will have an advantage on 7. It is a left-hand turn. Ooh, goes off track a bit there. But now ZG will have the opportunity to come back to him, and he does. He does. Look at that. Hypernova now in the mix as well, in the Sauber. He's closing in on the back of that Haas. But Johan's not giving up. You can see him just ahead there. Still within kissing distance of ZG Swift. What can he do?
It's a good race from ZG so far. Up 2 places.
Well, fantastic start to this race. I mean, we are only on lap 4 of 34. We're on board with NW Noel in the Williams as he's closing in on the back of that Cyber of Hypernova as they come down to turn 2. But a phenomenal start. But Rewind, look at Rewind. Oh, dearie me. He's right down in P12. Lost 10 places. Sorry, 9 places. But Repentful Sins in a Haas, he's lost 10.
Yeah, I think it's the commentator's curse again.
Well,
yeah,
they've all done stops. Now, the interesting thing here is that Rewind, he's done obviously his stop, and he's gone onto a set of mediums. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but those mediums should be able to take him to the end of this race, shouldn't they, Adrian?
They shouldn't. That's not to say he won't try it. We'll have to wait and see what happens. They'll be on the very last legs. They'll be 95% plus, definitely. Definitely in the puncture territory as well. You can get punctures anything after 70% really. Repentful Sins, his pit stop, I think that is a scheduled pit stop. He must be on the 2 stop because he started this race on the Ultras, of course.
He did start on the Ultras, and we were discussing how deep he could go in. We didn't think it'd be that deep, but 4 laps. I would have thought he might have been able to go a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I'd have hoped
Josh Diggle's
so,
picking up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see now where Sins will actually end up.
So, I thought that maybe on those mediums, Rewind would be able to go to the end. I mean, lap 3, he got 31 laps on a set of mediums. They are the harder compound tyres, but Adrian.
Yeah, as James was just saying, and as I tested at the weekend, 25 laps is as long as the medium tyre will generally last. I managed to squeeze an extra lap out of them. I mean, they were at 75% at the end of my medium stint after 26 laps. But I was doing everything I can to maintain the tyres.
So what we're saying is he's going to have to come in for another pit stop.
I would have thought so. It might do a quick ultra stint at the end, maybe the last 4 or 5 laps.
Well, I was going to say that, but what pay does he get? What's the payback in using those mediums, going deeper and going for an ultra soft stint rather than just going for two soft stints?
Well, this track's quite unusual in that it's one of the shortest tracks, but it's also got one of the longest pit stops. So it's got the longest sort of. Oh, Repentful Sims has just lost it.
He has. James?
Sorry.
I mean, absolutely no idea what's just happened there. Absolutely no idea, but it's a real shame for the pole sitter. He's gone from P1 down to P12 on a 2-stop and he's DNF'd. And
Silver Surfer picking up a 3-second time penalty. We can't quite pick up where on the track he came off because we certainly weren't expecting that. But indeed, Repentful Sins in the Haas has DNF'd. And undoubtedly, you know what's going to happen, don't you, Adrian? You know what's going to happen, don't you?
And what's that?
He is just going to put it down to his new gamer tag and have to change it again.
More than likely.
I'll put money on that. I think Betfair might give me some decent odds, or wouldn't give me decent odds on it, so it's not much point really. So Orbit Nations, he's picking up a 3-second time penalty. We're running on board at the moment with NW Null in the Williams. He's only 5/10 off the back of ZG Swift, but equally ZG Swift is only, well, now 3/10 as he comes round that corner there into Parabolica off the back of Johan. He's got DRS, and NW Null has got as well, and they're coming down now to that turn. Oh my goodness, and NW Null just misses the back of that Mercedes, locked up as he was coming down into turn 6. So close, he nearly wiped out that ZG Swift's car there.
Yeah, well, not sure if that was a lapse of concentration or just a risky move that he was thinking about but couldn't pull off.
Well, I mean, I thought maybe he might be looking at a late braking situation, but that was just looked like total loss of brakes there. And lock-up, yeah, basically. So, NW Null, he's still within the gap there, and Tom picks up a 3-second time penalty there. Jakar is now up to P2. And all those front runners, top 3 runners, they're all on the softs. They're all 7 laps old. Well, actually, looking at it, saying that, all the top 8 drivers. Oh, look at this. And he's going to be making a move on Tom as they're coming into turn 6. What can he do? He does have the inside, should have the advantage. But look at Orbit Nations there. He's having a sniff to see whether he can poke his nose in as well now.
May have been slight contact with the front of Orbit's car and the back of Jakar's.
Oh,
can't tell.
And Tom completely shuts the door on Jakar there. And that
Orbit
just lets Orbit Nations through, and he goes up into P1. James.
Absolutely shocked by that, because that's not like Tom at all. He completely shut the door on Jakar there and half spun him out. That is very not like Tom to do that, because...
Well, he completely shut the door on him.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't shut the door on him. He slammed it in his face.
I think he didn't realise how much space he was leaving, and he went in for the overtake, and obviously not realising, oh God, I've left that much space, and it's very big. It's basically a big mistake. I don't think it's unsportsmanlike behaviour, but I think it was just a big mistake, and he just cocked up. Simple as that.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you, certainly on past form from Tom. Not the sort of move, as you say, you would expect with any malice aforethought, but ultimately, at the end of the day, that has now cost him that P1 position and Orbit Nation. And look at this, he's going deep there, but he makes the move. Orbit Nation hesitates, but he's coming back, and they're coming around 7. Tom slots in behind him. This is so close now between the Williams and the Ferrari. Can he go up the inside there? He's alongside him. Let's watch this corner here now.
all three of these drivers got roughly the same amount of battery as well, so it's all coming down to well, driver skill essentially.
Well, they're in the final sector now, and this is where you can make up that time. Remember, if you cut that 16, that penultimate turn,
yeah, Orbit the fastest man out there at the moment.
Amazing launch out. So we'll stay on board here with Tom as he's coming up to turn 1. But look at this, Jacquard, he's closing right in as well, and there's a real battle going on here. Don't always see this sort of close racing, certainly in the top 3 drivers at this stage of the race. We're on lap 10 of 34, remember. We're a third of the way through this Synergy PWR, People's World Racing. And this is race 11 here at the Hockenheimring.
Tom just can't get that grip on the exit of turn 4. Yeah, Orbit's just putting away just on the exit there.
Look at this, and you could see there as we just quickly went in car with Tom, you could see the heat haze from the air off the back of that Ferrari, and remember that will affect his downforce in a major way. It's very tricky when you're driving this close to the car ahead of you at these sort of speeds. But Orbit seems to have that final turn pretty much, or the final 2 turns pretty much down to pat, and he's really getting good speed around there, and it's just not allowing Tom to catch up, is it, Adrian?
No, it's not. No, he's just, as I say, just getting. He's just getting that grip. It is turn 4. I made the mistake of trying to defend on the inside into turn 4, and I had at one point 2 people pass me on the same corner. So yeah, I think Orbit's got defended in that corner nailed down very well. But you know who is catching these front 3? Johan in P4. He's catching a couple of tenths up to the leaders every lap, because he's not fighting them at the moment.
Well, just watching NW Knoll now down into turn 6 on ZG Swift, and well, I'm not too sure how the hell he just managed to do that. NW Knoll made the movement in prior to turn 6, but it looked like NW Knoll's car just seemed to stop on that turn 6 now and allowed ZG Swift back. It was most peculiar. I didn't see a lock-up. James?
Bit interested actually what's happening with Sean Gregory at the moment in P9. He's on medium tyres while the rest of the field around him are on 10-lap old soft, so it's going to be interesting to see how he develops into the race and how he will do in contrast to the rest of the field, who are obviously going to be on newer tyres at the time. So keep an eye out on Sean Gregory and how he's going to interfere with the front runners.
Well, curiously, James, he's just set, just that last lap just now is equal to Orbit Nation's lap.
And the other thing I'm looking at, and looks like Jacquard is in the pits. So Jacquard is in the pits. Yep. It will be. But interesting thing about this is going to be very interesting, and I think it's very well pointed out, because if we look at all those guys ahead of them up to P7, they're all on the softs. They will be coming in before Sean Gregory, and I'm quickly adding up the times here. There's, at the moment as it stands, those gaps is sufficient for Sean Gregory, once they all pit, to actually take P1.
Yeah, he could do a momentary P1. That would have to be said, but yeah, certainly if he gets some good laps in now, he can make the most of this relatively sort of clean air in front of him.
Well, we are running on board with Tom, or Wee, aka Tom. He nearly did way into the wall there. But
he's going to have a go, I think.
So
T2.
close. He's going to be looking to make. He's going to come now. He's going to make this move now. Can he make it stick? Can he make it stick? No, he's still alongside that Ferrari. They're coming down Parabolica now. They are side by side as they're coming down. Tom just gets ahead of him now. So Tom is now ahead of Orbit Nation to come down to turn 6. But what? I don't think Orbit is going to give this place up easily. But he can't get that exit out of turn 6. And now Tom starting to get away, but this Ferrari is, I think he is so fast in this final third sector here. James.
Yeah, just making a further observation on Sean Gregory. Remember, Sean Gregory is Orbit's teammate. The longer that Sean Gregory can keep Jakar behind, the better it will be for Orbit, and well, obviously better naturally for Tom as well. But it means Orbit's position is going to be far higher, so Sean is not going to give up P8 so easily. Just keep an eye out on that one. They're both in the pits.
Yeah, it's a good point, James.
They're both in the pits now. Oh, and Tom very nearly goes into the wall there. So, Tom and Orbit into the pits. Johan into the pits. NW Noel does stay out on track, so he will take provisional P1.
I think that's wise from Noel to stay out. It allows him to not have to fight the other two on track. He's going to try and do his best now to set a really good lap here and
well, he's got to
get
go
the
for the
overcut,
undercut, hasn't he, really?
Orbit's obviously looking to, Orbit's obviously looking to fight Tom from start to finish. Pitting at the same time.
Looks that way. But look at this now. Look at this. There is nothing between these guys. 3/10 Orbit to Tom. 3/10 Jakar to Orbit, and 6/10 only for Sean Gregory, just in behind them. But these three here, they are just fighting it out, really, start to finish here. And remember,
and
Orbit
Jakar,
Nations...
Sorry to interrupt you, Jakar just behind. He's the fastest man on the track out there by a mile at the moment, as he catches, he's all over the back of Orbit.
He is definitely all over the back with him, but look at this, Sean Gregory now, he's on the back of Jakar as well. Coming round down now on the start of this 15th lap. 3 second
Tom's just
time
got 3
penalty
seconds.
for Tom for cutting that turn one. And he's got quite a few penalties mounting up. There's at least a couple of times I've seen him get a couple of penalties. I don't know how many points he has exactly.
Yeah, 9 seconds.
Coming round 5 now and round Parabolica. Sean Gregory is starting to fall a bit behind now. He's 1.6 seconds behind Jakar, and Orbit Nations, he's now nearly a second behind Tom. Clearly, this fight with Jakar, he's really having to defend quite hard, isn't he, on this one, by the looks of it, Adrian, because he's losing time.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he's trying to. It's that difficult thing to do, to try and save up your ERS to have another go at the attack and still, stay within a reasonable distance of the car in front. I think that's what he's trying to do. He's slowly but surely gaining more and more battery over Tom. James, you have something for us?
Yeah, just looking further down the field at the moment as Orbit sets the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 15.0. Josh Diggles is hemorrhaging positions at the moment on 14-lap old soft, so they are well past their sell-by date. Surely he's going to have to come into the pit soon, and he is.
Yeah, he's in Hypernova, easily made the move on him there at the end of Sector 2. And a 5-second time penalty for Josh Diggles. Not what he wanted.
No, that's not ideal at all.
Still, oh, look at this, side by side, round 6. Who's going to get the advantage on this here now? They are side by side, literally. Oh, and Orbit goes wide. He's off the track. Jakar takes second place from that Ferrari. It's only a question of time, let's be fair. Fantastic move. Side by side there. That was pretty awesome. But Orbit Nations, again, it's his third. This Ferrari is so strong in this final sector. So Jakar now, he's just over 2 seconds behind our race leader, Tom 123, aka Wee. James.
Sorry, I keep stepping in, don't I, all the time? Just wanted to make a note here. Johan, fastest lap of the race. He's slowly but surely just gaining on the back of Sean Gregory, who's going to be in his pit soon for his first stop of the race. So if we go to P5, hopefully we can see him actually make the overtake on P4 at the moment, because Sean Gregory is going to want to try and hold it for the sake of Orbit Nations. So it's looking like an interesting battle for P4, and look how close they're getting.
It is indeed, and Johan is really closing in on the back of that Ferrari now.
Yeah, it's quite tactical from the Ferrari driver actually to assist his teammate in this way by defending.
It is.
Those Ferrari drivers known for helping each other out, especially in qualifying sessions.
There is something about those red cars that just makes you the most helpful person in the world.
Oh, Johan nearly lost it there, just coming through the stadium section.
He is so close, and Orbit now picking up the fastest time or lap with a 1:14. Oh, and Rewind has gone off the track there. Oh, dearie me. Not what he wanted to be doing. Clearly pushing so hard as he was coming round turn 13, I think it was.
Yeah, the Vettel corner.
He's into the pits. He's obviously wiped out his nose by the looks of it, but at least he's still running. Look at this now, Jakar zoning in once again on Orbit Nations.
Interestingly, Johan's just gone past his former teammate, actually, Sean Gregory, as well. Just
Sean
after
Gregory,
the hairpin.
yeah, he has. So he is really, and you were right, he is really pushing his way through the field now.
Yep.
On those mediums. But Sean Gregory, he's on 17-lap-old mediums now. We know from what you were saying with tests that he can probably go up to lap 25. But,
yeah, even so, they won't.
He's
going to
drop right down, isn't he?
Yeah, he will do. Expect him to, drop to. Oh, well, he should be P8. I don't think Josh will come out.
I think it will be. Yeah. I think P8 is the way he is likely to come out. So we're 19 laps into this Synergy PWR, People's World Racing, and this is race 11 here, the German Grand Prix at the Hockenheimring, and we have seen a phenomenal start to this race and some amazing battling here in the top three. But all the way down the field, we are running at this moment in time with Jakar in the McLaren. He is really battling out with Orbit Nations in the Ferrari. They've swapped places, they've pitted, and they're still fighting it through. But the winner here, Tom 123, he's just cruising away at the moment.
Yeah, winner, you're jumping ahead of yourself a bit there. Leader, I would say.
I said the winner at the moment. At the moment.
But yeah, you have to say it's the advantage, Tom. At the moment, it's in his hands. What happens? I think Jakar will have something to say about it, though. He seems to be on a rampage at the minute.
Well, he's about 4.2 seconds behind our race leader at the moment. He is on an slightly older set of mediums. I mean, we've got 14 laps remaining, so they are within the window. How is he going to catch him up? Oh, James, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to back you up on that one, actually, because I was just thinking about it. It's not just tyres we've got to think about, because obviously Jakar may be on 2-lap older mediums, but he's also burning through them quite quickly. He's in dirty air, and he's trying to keep up with tyres which are younger. So I think his tyre wear is going to be a lot worse than you may realise. But you've also got to remember, Tom, or Way, as he is in P1 at the moment, has got a hefty amount of penalties to reconsider as well. So this race is far from over.
Actually, yeah, good point. That is a very good point, because I've certainly seen Tom pick up at least a couple of time penalties, and then that puts a completely different complexion on it, because what that means is Jakar all he really needs to ensure is just that he gets past this damn Ferrari.
It's also worth considering. It's also worth considering as well that if Jakar decides to report what happened earlier at the end of this turn here, I think it's Parabolica, isn't it? Where he got pretty much. Oh no, it weren't Parabolica. Sorry, I can't remember. I can't remember the corner. But he was shut off.
No. Sorry, that was sector 2.
It's in sector 2.
Coming out.
It was shut off, and obviously it caused quite a bit, maybe a bit of an instant. No, a bit of an overtake perhaps. Actually, great move from Jakar, but not just yet.
Oh, look at that! So close.
But yeah, as I was saying, he may decide to report that instant. If he does, he could end up receiving a further time penalty, could Tom? So, like I said, this race far from over.
It is indeed, and we have certainly seen races go down to the flag and then the points. I don't know. What do you think, Adrian?
Well, I can tell you what I know. I know that Orbit and Tom both got 9 seconds of penalties. Jakar's only got 3, so he's actually got 6-second advantage on the 2 of them. So as long as he sort of stays right here where he is, he'll be all right.
Well, we saw that last week for the podium, that points came into play in a major way, actually, and they could certainly do the same here for this German Grand Prix, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, indeed. I think Jakar may be getting his form back. It's good to have him racing with us again.
Just wanted to step in again, just to make a note of this as Jakar makes a move here, looking like a great move on the outside. Is he going to defend off the inside his Orbit? Yeah, good move. Switch back though for the McLaren. No, pretty close. No, I was just about to say. I don't think he
can quite do it.
I was just about to say as well, obviously, as we say, it's obviously a 6-second advantage for Jakar, but in order for Jakar to win this race, he needs to get around Orbit, and Orbit's not going to allow it too easily here. So he needs to get around Orbit if he wants to win this race. As soon as he gets around Orbit, Jakar can win this, but Orbit is hindering him from doing it.
Well, I totally and wholeheartedly agree with you. He does still need to get past that Ferrari. Oh! Contact, but very light.
Yeah, Jakar's missing a piece of wing there.
He's missing, I think, one of the winglets maybe, but it will affect him clearly. But
Orbit's just gone way off.
Orbit's just gone into the wall, taking it out. That was absolutely I don't know what happened. It was just as he was coming round, exiting turn 1, and he just goes straight off the track and straight into the wall.
Yeah,
well,
let's watch that back on the...
Sorry, Eddie. I tell you what, I think Jakar's going to be smiling ear to ear on that one. James.
I can't agree because although he might be smiling ear to ear, look at the time difference, 6.7 seconds, and Tom is not going to be making any more mistakes unless they're unforced. So, and we know Tom is one of the most consistent drivers on the field. I think it's highly unlikely Tom is going to be making any more mistakes. Jakar's got to try and find over a second on 2-lap older mediums, which he's burnt through already, and 5 seconds back, he's got a rampant Spanish driver in a Haas about to, well, really close down that gap. It's going to be a spicy finale.
Well, yeah, Jakar's injured as well, isn't he? He's got a broken wing. He's rapidly losing time against Tom at the moment, so I think even if Tom does get another one, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that he has picked up that damage. It is certainly unfortunate that Orbit Nations went out, but Johan, as indeed James has pointed out, is starting to hone in now. He's still 4 seconds down the road, but Jakar, as you quite rightly say, he's hemorrhaging time, isn't he? Look at that, 8 seconds now. He really is hemorrhaging time. He's got to come into those pits. He has no choice. But if he does, he could go onto a set of Ultrasofts.
Yeah.
You know, he's still going to come out roundabout, I would think, probably P... If he's lucky, he could come out P... Oh, I don't know. No, it's actually going to be P7, isn't it?
Yeah, but he'll be on... the Ultrasofts are actually a good tyre around there. I know they
might be
do
P6.
Fall apart.
Well, if he comes out on P6, he gets on those Ultrasofts early. He's got a lighter fuel load, so he won't have the same sort of pressure that, say, was at the start of the race. I think that's what he's going to have to do, but he's still staying out. James.
Oh, 3 seconds for Tom.
Another 3 seconds from
Oh,
Tom,
and now
yes.
that's a different
12
complexion on
seconds,
it.
completely different complexion now. That's 12 seconds worth of penalties for Tom, and that was an unforced error again, so maybe one of his weaker tracks. I was just about to say, I think Jakar's making a catastrophic error here. I know he's got now a 9-second advantage, but it's 9.6 seconds right now, and he's hemorrhaging time to Johan. It's a no-brainer. Come into the pit, skate front wing change, get some ultra softs on, and damage limited that way, not this way, because if you do, you're only going to lose the positions that you might gain on ultras, and I think he's making a big mistake. He should pit now.
I totally agree with you. I think he should have pitted at the end of lap 24 rather than going on to this 25th lap.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to make ultra soft tyres last 10 laps under like race conditions, even with the with the lower fuel. You're quite right. It is 9, but it's still 9 laps. They'll fall apart after 6, and you've really got to look after them to make them last.
Well, I think it's a valid point that Adrian's throwing in there, but it does mean that Jakar's going to have to really stay out there for another 2 laps and effectively ensure that he doesn't let Johan pass, and in fact, if anything, opens up that gap, because if he doesn't, it's game over.
Well, Johan smells blood, I'm sure. You can see him ahead of him now, although he's just got a 3-second
Johan's just picked up a 3-second
I'll stop talking about him now.
Adrian, every time I want you to curse a driver, I will ask you for a comment on them, because it just every single time. just hand in your papers, mate. The P45's in the post, okay? Rewind is zoning in now, the second McLaren driver on Mulan. And Mulan he's not really had a great season this season, has he, Mulan?
No, he hasn't. I mean, we saw last season he was he was fighting up there for wins. I think he actually got a couple from memory anyway. I haven't got the stats, but this season he's just not on the same kind of form. I don't think his head's in the right place in terms of his racing.
No, he just doesn't seem to be pulling out that old Mulan magic, but hopefully that will change during the course of time. But it's not unusual to see the drivers sometimes, even within the season or from season to season, because the level of concentration is immense, really, and the training required as well. We're running on board P5 Johan now. He's got an issue.
Johan's lost a chunk of time in 2 places.
He's lost places big time there to ZG Swift and NW Knoll. And James.
Keep coming in here, sorry guys, just making a note here. That is absolutely catastrophic for Johan, because he was on from a load of DNF streak to be backing on the podiums again. He's now down P5 after making a mistake, so he drops to P5, as I said. And that is brilliant for Williams. NW Knoll now takes P3 as Silver Surfer gets ultra soft tyres, fastest lap of the race.
112, yeah.
Oh, and retires.
Yeah, indeed. Well, NW Knowles, he is up into P3. Jakar is still there. He's starting now lap 28. He's got 13 seconds now, the gap between him and Tom. So he's now got 1.3 seconds that he needs to try and make up somewhere on this track in the next 6 laps. He's not going to do it if he pits. He has no choice. He has to stay out.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, if Johan's in the pit. Oh, he's
actually exited the race. Sorry.
He's had enough.
And Josh Diggles. Josh Diggles goes off the track as well.
Is he celebrating already? Doing a few donuts?
It looked like it, didn't it? No, he just went right off the track. I think that was turn 13, actually. Or 14, it could have been. And he's gone off the track again. He's got major problems here. What is going on?
Well, there's 2 things that Josh Diggles doesn't like.
Dirty tyres.
Yeah, 2 things he doesn't like. One is this track, the other's Marmite.
Well, there you go then. That answers the question. This track really is Marmite.
Yeah, he's just not having a good time.
He's definitely not having a good time there. And he is bringing up the rear, effectively, of the field. And Jakar He's now 14 seconds. 14.4 seconds behind. I mean, is he just sitting there?
Noel's on 3 seconds.
I was just saying, I just thought I'd pop in here quickly. I don't mean to keep interrupting, but I'm talking about...
yes, you do.
And yeah, talking about Noel here, actually, at the moment, because Noel's penalty streak at the moment could be the deciding factor for Jakar here. He's made a really, really big mistake, in my opinion, still going on these medium tyres, because I think basically on the very final laps, he's going to get absolutely pummeled by the Williams, the Mercedes, and possibly even the Sauber. Because remember, he's on 17-lap old mediums, and he's got front wing damage, and he was in dirty air, and he was battling out with a load of tyres, a load of other cars, sorry, which means those tyres are going to be worn to basically their limits, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, they certainly are. I mean, I was just suddenly thinking there, we were talking about lap 25 of him coming in and going onto those old softs, but he could have gone onto a set of softs.
Yeah, that's
And
probably the best bet, actually. Run onto the softs with 11 laps to go.
But that is now not relevant because we are on lap 30 of 34 here at the Hockenheimring. Race 11 for this German Grand Prix for SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. And we are on board with NW Noel. Is he coming down round Parabolica down to turn 6? Jakar now 15 seconds off the back of Tom. There is a little bit of back end swing there from NW Noel. Adrian, you were going to say?
Yeah, sorry, Eddie. If Jakar's not careful, he could actually find himself losing places, as James said to Noel, and also to ZG Swift. Swift could actually be on for a podium, which I know will please our sort of regular viewer, Elenzia, the #1 fan of ZG Swift.
Well, yeah, we certainly... I don't think... When was the last time we actually saw him up there? Just having a quick look here.
ZG Swift has finished second before.
He has,
While I'm looking
yeah.
at James. I think James has got something.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, sorry. Hiya. No, I was just saying, you were talking about NW Noel and ZG Swift. I think he's going to hemorrhage enough time, is Jakar, to lose out on a podium
And NW
here.
Noel's just picked up a 3-second time penalty.
I don't think that's going to make a difference, quite honestly, with Jakar at the moment. The comment actually coming in from Morgan Forrest, the Williams driver in Division 2. Hashtag Ask Eddie. Do you think Tom should keep his name as Way?
There is a part of me, and I cannot lie, it is a substantial part that I think he should keep it as Way. The only problem that I've got is I don't think my voice could stand it for too many more Grand Prix.
Try not to think about which part wants him to keep that gamer tag.
Oh, it's the sadistic part, Adrian. It's the sadistic part. So we're coming round now, the final few turns of lap 32 with NW Noel in the Williams. He is hunting down Jakar. He's already within DRS range of that McLaren, and that McLaren is hemorrhaging time. And I'm looking at this, he's going to drop down to P5, and yet had he have pitted, I think on lap 20, he probably would have been up a couple of places and would be looking at a podium potentially.
Sure, it'd be a more fun race as well to fight back for those positions than to panic about possibly losing them at the end. Jakar's just lost it to
it's
Noel.
a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And then NW Noel is just now moved ahead of him, taken P2. Ooh, a little bit of a lock up there. So Jakar drops down to P3. ZG Swift now is only 4 seconds behind him. He only needs to catch up, a second and a half, and he's on that podium before the end of this lap. I mean, there's only 2 laps remaining, a lap and a half. Well, 1 lap now,
I'm interested. Just start slipping again. I'm interested. What's the current situation as regards to penalties for Swift?
I haven't seen Swift's name pop up. He's got one penalty.
I saw it early on. If he's got any, it'll be 1.
The 1 penalty, and what's Jakar on as 1 as well?
Jakar's on 1 as well.
Yeah, that's okay. So it's a straight out battle to the end then. Interesting.
It is. You're right. And he's not going to be able. Well, I don't know. He could, if Jakar makes an error, which he could certainly still do, as they're coming round down to turn 6.
He's gaining 0.9 of a second per lap on him.
He's not going to make it. So Jakar at this stage will still be looking at a podium finish, barring any incident on track. And look at that, you can see the Williams there is just pulling away from him. He's just got really no speed, straight line speed at all, it seems. Yeah, if indeed, as pointed out there by James in the background, that tyre degradation is pretty bad, very, very clearly defined there on the inside left and indeed on that inside right as well. And look at that, Noel is just cruising away from him now. CG Swift has closed the gap down. He's taken 6/10 out, but it's not going to be enough. And such a shame, but great to see Jakar up there. To be fair, he's going to, certainly at this moment in time, be on that podium. And we're running on board now with Tom as he comes into the final sector to take the win.
This will be win number 7 for Tom.
German Grand Prix, indeed, win number 7. And indeed, ways over the line, takes P1. NW Noel, his teammate in the Williams, will be coming in to take P2. And what a finish for Williams. Oh, Jakar, what's this? Jakar moves up to P2.
Yeah, no, we must have got someone
that last. We were talking about Jakar's penalties.
Yep. Yeah, lap 31 there, we didn't spot that actually.
Lap 31, sorry, I'm just going to come in again. Just realised he got the 3-second time penalty on lap 31, didn't he? So that's it, yeah. So Sean Gregory next across the line on the Ultras.
I think I'll be shopping at Jakar because he obviously has far more jam than Sainsbury's. Look at this now between these two drivers. Look at this side by side as they come over the line, and the Mercedes just pips him. Mulan pips Rewind at the final knocking of this race. What a fantastic finish there from those two drivers. Absolutely superb.
Yeah, it was great stuff. Great stuff at the end there. And then congrats to Tom. And to Williams, in fact. Another 1-2.
Well, a 1-3 for Williams.
1-3, sorry.
That's all right. I'll let you off. Checks in the post. But anyway, Williams look at that. Tom, a.k.a. this evening, takes the win. NW Noel, his teammate, is 3rd. But Jakar for McLaren takes P2. Takes those valuable points, and is this the start of a rejuvenated Jakar for the second half of this Synergy Season 1?
Yeah, I think it might be. I hope it is. Yeah, no, it's good racing from Jakar. It was his to lose this race, and unfortunately he did.
ZG Swift Mercedes comes 4, Hypernova for Sauber comes 5, Sean Gregory for Ferrari is 6, Mulan for Mercedes is 7, Rewind McLaren teammate to Jakar is 8, Josh Diggles for Renault takes 9, Johan for Haas, Silver Surfer for Sauber, Orbit Nations for Ferrari, Repentful Sins for Haas, DNF. And that, my friends, is the close of the race. And what a race. But look at those time penalties there. Tom picking up 12 seconds worth of time penalty. I don't think I've ever seen Tom pick up that many penalties.
No, I don't think I have. That might be a record he doesn't particularly want. But it's difficult not to get penalties in this track. We had every driver in Division 2 you get penalties as well. We're just seeing it with Division 1.
Well, it certainly is very, very tricky indeed. So we are now closing this race. Remember, next week. And do we have any races next week, actually, chaps?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hungary next week.
So next week, Division 2, we are going to be at the Hungaroring, as opposed to this week's Hockenheimring. We're going to be in Hungary. Great race, great track. So Tuesday night, Division 2, don't forget, 7:30 in the evening. Wednesday night, Division 1, 7:30 race start or qualification start. We hope you've enjoyed it. I know I certainly have, and what a fantastic race again it has been. Adrian, closing comments?
Yeah, no, brilliant race, and as I say again, congrats to Tom on win number 7. Yeah, fair play, mate. Well done.
And James, just one final. We'll let you jump in.
Yeah, okay, fine. I wasn't expecting that one. Thank you very much for the little bit of airtime. No, cracking race overall. Really enjoyed it with that battle, especially with your car. Shame about the front wing damage at the end, but looks like that skip to the ultra soft tyre would have actually hurt him more than anything. So he got got a little bit jammy, didn't he, with that final little bit.
He certainly did.
But yeah, good race overall. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait for Hockenheim. Final race before the Christmas period.
Indeed. Final race will be next week at the Hungaroring. We will then post for the following races. I guess it will be in the new year. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed it. We will see you same time, different place next week. Good night.